Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini, which happened earlier today at 2 degrees. First of all, I just wanted to say happy birthday to all of the Geminis out there. I know that you guys probably wish you could celebrate more, but considering everything that's going on in the world right now, it's probably not as easy for you to celebrate your birthday, but I hope that you are celebrating your solar return in this time in any way that you can. So I know it probably pissed off the Aries that they couldn't do it. Taurus, I don't know if they really cared because they probably are okay with just being at home and stuff, but really it just kind of depends on your energy. But happy birthday to all of the Geminis out there. We're going to get into this new moon in Gemini energy. I may make another video on this later, but I just wanted to make a quick video for this. I haven't been live in quite a while, guys, so this is going to be fun. So I myself don't have any Gemini energy, right? I have Gemini in my chart. It's my 7th house, but I don't have any planets in Gemini. That being said, I'm around quite a few Geminis in my life, so I can pick up on the energy and stuff. So Gemini, of course, you know, rules the 3rd house of the mind, communications, our neighborhood, and these sort of things are the extremities of our body. That's kind of ruled by Gemini, you know, our hands, our arms, our fingers, the extremities of our body. That's also ruled by Gemini. So anytime, of course, you get a new moon, this is sort of like a reset button. It is kind of coming off of the culmination of everything that's happened in the past 6 months based off of the last time that we had the full moon in Gemini, last Sagittarius season. And now we are beginning a new cycle as far as the Gemini energy. It's getting some fresh, new energy. Oftentimes, new moons can be rather quiet. Sometimes they can be loud, though. Sometimes new moons can be actually louder than the full moon, but it kind of depends on what's aspecting it. It's depending upon what also is in that sign. This is going to be one of those kind of like, I almost want to say silent but deadly kind of new moons. Not in a bad sense of deadly, but I'm saying that because we have quite a other bit of energy in Gemini. We have the North Node here now. We have Venus, which just went retrograde, and we have Mercury here as well. In fact, at the time of the new moon, Mercury, the planet of communication, which is at home in Gemini, actually is conjunct Venus retrograde here. This is going to be one of the most interesting and pivotal Gemini seasons that we've had because, you know, like I said, the last time you got to think that the North Node was here, you know, was like, what, 18 years ago or so? So it's been a while since we've had this energy. The last time that Gemini was here, this was, you're talking, what's that? It's like probably pre-2001 energy, right? Because I'm pretty sure for 2001, I'm pretty sure the North Node was in Cancer during that time. Yeah, so no, it's going to be a little bit after 2001. So you're talking like, you know, 2002, 2003. And that was an interesting time because when after 9/11 happened, while the North Node was in Cancer and when it slipped into Gemini right afterwards, that was an interesting time because it really did shift how a lot of people think. It shifted how people thought about themselves and how they thought about their neighbors and even the world at large, but it really did affect the way that we treat each other. You can kind of remember back that even though that was such a tragic event, it simultaneously brought people together because they realized what was truly important. But the other issue is that, you know, there can be a lot of different narratives that go around and a lot of different propagandas that can go around. But the interesting thing about it is that Gemini is a truth seeker. Sagittarius is as well, but I would almost like to say that Sagittarius is, even though it is about belief with Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius can sometimes kind of get caught up in like, they can kind of just get caught up in the flow of it. They can kind of get caught up in just the hysteria about it. They can get swept away by the propaganda. Propaganda, that sort of energy is more Sagittarius, whereas Gemini just wants to kind of seek the truth, no matter what. Geminis, these are people that, that energy itself, this is where you get your automatic writing coming from. This is where you get your reading coming from, wanting to get as much information as possible, but can sometimes be a bit scattered. So, like I said, the last time that we had the North Node in Gemini was post 9/11. And this created this whole new sort of energy within our local communities and eventually the world at large, but the local communities. Now we're getting this energy again. But now, of course, we have a Venus retrograde here. We have Mercury here. And like I said, of course, we have this new moon now. So just adding on to it with the whole Venus retrograde thing, which can be a whole video in and of itself. Venus, of course, rules relationships. It rules value. In many ways, it can kind of rule like physicality in a sense, being that it's the ruler of Libra, but also the co-ruler of Taurus. We are going through this sort of recalibration. We're going through this reconfiguration of what we really think about when it comes to our relationships and what we truly value. We're having to reconfigure everything right now, and especially within our local communities. It's crazy. Like, you go out now, and I told my wife this, we just came back from, making a couple of runs, and I see more young people wearing face masks than older people. And I think that's kind of interesting. I'm not going to really talk too much about that particular subject because I know it's a hot topic, and I know people have been getting their videos taken down and shadow banned for that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to really talk about it. But you can definitely sense, considering everything that's going on right now, that our local communities, that there's like this interesting shift that's going on in how we communicate and treat each other. I want to say, especially with this being a new moon here, since Venus is retrograde, which means that the energies turn more inward. I like to think that whenever a planet is going retrograde, the energy is turned more within, especially now with Venus here, which I think is definitely, even though it rules Libra, which can be an outward sign, it definitely has a sort of like inside my self-worth value kind of energy. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining. I appreciate y'all joining. But we are having to look within ourselves to ask ourselves, how do we really treat ourselves, and where does our true value come from? And we're having to ask ourselves, how do I relate to the people around me? Because like I said, Gemini rules your close community. Sagittarius rules foreign lands. So do you know your neighbors? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know your neighbors? Do you know the people around you? Do you see the same people whenever you go to the grocery store? Do you know the people that work at your local grocery store or whatever these stores are? What kind of relationships do you have with these people? Because, we can hypothesize about what's going to happen in the world. And, we seem to be fascinated with doomsday stuff. And we seem to be fascinated with post-apocalyptic kind of stuff, right? And in the case of something like that happening, the people that we're going to have to rely on, beyond our immediate family, is going to be our immediate neighborhood. But most people don't know their neighbors, and it's sad. We used to be a lot more community-based humans, and we are naturally community-based, right? But now we have gotten to this point where people are afraid of each other, right? I mean, this all goes hand in hand with what's going on right now. But people, it's like now you can go out and maybe you have some allergies or you have the sniffles and you cough and you sneeze. And some people may give you the stink eye because suddenly it's like you're a ticking time bomb and you never know, you might give them something, right? So it's like, but that's why Venus is here retrograde in Gemini. And that's also the reason why Neptune at the time of this new moon is also in a perfect square at 20 degrees to Venus and Mercury in Gemini. Neptune, which is at 20 degrees of Pisces. This is a very emotional time right now too. You got to think, because 2 in numerology and astrology stuff is actually ruled and governed by the moon and by Cancer energy. So we have that new moon at 2 degrees of Gemini. right? Then we have Venus and Mercury at 20 degrees of Gemini. 2 plus 0, or 2 and 0 reduces to 2. And then you got Neptune here as well. Emotions can be rather high right now. Even though, like I said, it's a new moon, and usually it's the full moons that are a little bit more emotional. This is going to be an interesting new moon because it's going to actually kind of tug at us a bit. And it's going to be where emotions trigger thoughts, thoughts trigger emotions. These may trigger, having us question what we truly believe in, whether we really do believe in the magic, with that square that Neptune is having over to Mercury and Venus. I titled this as Breaking Mirrors or Breaking Promises, or instead of Breaking Promises. And this comes from one of my favorite songs by Owl City. It's called Tidal Wave. And I've probably have mentioned this on the channel before, but there's a lyric in that song that says, "I'd rather break mirrors than promises because all I see is a shattered conscience staring right back at me." And it's interesting too, because when you think of breaking a mirror, that's bad luck, right? That's bad luck. That's bad juju. You don't want to break a mirror, right? But you have to ask yourself, especially with Venus retrograde in the sign of the mirror, Gemini, the twins, looking in the mirror, and it's retrograde, and we're going through this recalibration. And of course, now the North Node there, the universe is actually asking us to actually shatter certain mirrors that we've had in our life, because these mirrors that we have kind of put up have been kind of performing as this sort of wall, and it's kind of kept us from our potential, I see. Now, not all these mirrors need to be broken, or maybe we need to just adjust the way that we're looking at the mirror, right? I think a lot of times what happens, especially in the New Age spiritual community, is that we'll look out and see what other people are doing, and we may mentally obsess over it. I know I've done this. We may mentally obsess over, oh, I can make this change, I can do this thing, I can do that thing. And then we don't end up following through. We make promises to ourselves, and we don't end up following through because we are paying too much attention to a mirror. I'm your mirror, you're my mirror. But here's the thing, everyone has their own journey. And I think a lot of times what happens is that people will really get down on themselves, and their sense of self-confidence and self-worth will diminish because they are kind of projecting this idealized reality or version of themselves, or wanting to, or mentally try to project this because they see someone else doing something that they may want to do, and then it doesn't quite come to fruition. But oftentimes I think what you'll find is that if you talk to these individuals, it's not like an overnight success. It's not like an overnight celebrity type of thing. Some of it is. Some people do get that overnight celebrity kind of vibe and that kind of energy, But for the vast majority of us, it requires some hard work and some hard effort. I'm going to give you guys a secret here, okay? Gemini is a slept-on sign, and I know Gemini gets a lot of flack. I think some of the most slept-on signs are Taurus and Gemini. I would say Aries, but Aries is loud, so they don't let people sleep on them. But here's the thing, though, about Gemini. The 8th house to Gemini is Capricorn, and the 8th house does rule the occult, and it does rule secrets. So Gemini actually holds secrets of success. The issue with Gemini and what they have to transform is communicating to the universe what their intention is and sticking to it. Because Gemini will just bounce all over the damn place. They'll bounce all over the damn place, and it's harder for them to get focused. But a focused Gemini is a freight train and is a powerful force. So you want to look to see where this is happening in your chart. And of course, you want to see where the ruler is in your chart as well, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury. You see how it's going to be aspecting this, because that's going to show you pretty much the predominant way that you're going to be expressing this energy with the Mercury. And then the house is going to be kind of the area of your life that's going to change the most as a result of you expressing that energy. So That's the thing, that's a secret that Gemini holds, is that they actually are given so much knowledge from the universe on how to be successful, and how to climb the mountain, and how to kind of develop this sort of social status, if you will. But they can get sidetracked because they get so many different ideas, and they're constantly being bombarded with all of these different thought frequencies. And that's why it's really important. That's why meditation is really important. That's why writing is very important for Geminis, or those who are Gemini dominant, or just anyone in general, because as you write things out, you get those thoughts out on paper and you free up more space within your mind and within your being. This new moon in Gemini is going to give everyone the opportunity to commit to something new and to write it down. And you know what? Here's the thing. You may be looking in the mirror and you may be feeling kind of shattered. You may be feeling that you're a little bit broken up. And I can assure you that we're all like that. But I don't want to just say that to try and take away from your experience either, because I know that your experience is unique to you and no one's really going to get it besides you and, of course, God's spirit. But this is an awesome time for us to look in the mirror. And even if the mirror may seem shattered, it's actually okay to go buy a new mirror. And it's okay to just have this deeper sense of trust and belief, establishing that deeper sense of self-confidence and self-worth. That's really important during this time. This is an incredible time while the new moon is here, especially as the moon continues its transit and it goes over Mercury, Venus, and the North Node. Writing, journal. Write. If you have any dreams, write them down if you can remember them. If you want to just sit down and write a poem, do that, or just do automatic writing. I actually may do a video about that tomorrow. We'll do like an automatic writing session. Automatic writing is essentially where it's just like word vomit. You're just like writing whatever comes to mind and you just put it on the paper, and it's a very, very, very therapeutic thing. That will be perfect to do. Perfect to do for this new moon in Gemini. It's going to allow us to, your emotions just really will just flow out of you, and you'll be surprised a lot of times by the things that come out and what you'll write. This is a very confusing time though, because it's like we're wanting to move things forward. We've been wanting to move things forward since Aries season, right? But things shut down, right? Then we got Taurus season, which made it a little bit better. But now that Gemini seasons come around, we're getting a little angsty. We're wanting to get more out into our community. We don't want to just be trapped up in the home all the damn time, right? We dealt with it in Aries season. That was kind of the beginning of it. In Taurus season, hopefully we had good food to get us through it, Hopefully we had a comfortable space to be in to get us through it. But now that Gemini is here, we're wanting to go out. We're wanting to see people. We're wanting to do things, right? We're wanting to explore our local communities. And as our local communities begin to open up, you are going to see a shift in the way that people treat each other. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but there's going to be this sort of divide. You're going to have this divide where there are going to be people that are going to be really showing more kindness and caring for other people, and are really wanting to just we realize, honestly, this is a thing where it's like, we're all in this together. We're all in this experience together, whether you believe in the conspiracies or not, whatever like that. That's probably a flagged word, conspiracy. But there's going to be this interesting shift. We're going to have people that are going to be just excited to get out and to communicate and associate with other people and just be thankful for that. Then you're going to have this other energy where people are going to still be wanting to be shut in, close themselves off from people, not really wanting to communicate. And I understand that maybe everyone's situation is different when it comes to that. Maybe someone maybe works with elderly people, or maybe somebody, has older parents or whatever. I know everyone's situation is different, but you're going to see that. You're going to see some people that are going to be kind of overcompensating, or you're going to be seeing some people that are going to be still just almost even shutting down even more. You're going to see that. But we have to ask ourselves, what do we really want to do? Would you rather break mirrors, or would you rather break promises? The thing about a mirror is that, I guess it is. I guess I'm not really sure what it's considered bad luck. That's something I have to look into. But I feel like if you break a promise, it is a little bit deeper than breaking a mirror. And it definitely, and we all have broken promises to a people and ourselves. but these things will come up subconsciously, and then they'll begin to affect us in different ways. That's why it's important to do the shadow work and to do the journaling so we can become more aware of these things. But you do have to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself, would you rather break mirrors or would you rather break promises? Because you can always buy another mirror. You can always go to the store and buy another mirror, right? And here's the thing about mirrors too. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a mirror. It can be you looking at your reflection in the river or the lake. And what's the cool thing about that is that you can never step in the same river twice because the water is constantly moving. It's constantly flowing. Shout out to Pocahontas. It's constantly moving. It's constantly flowing. So even in that example, you're not looking into the same mirror every single time because it's a different river. It's a different flow. So let's go ahead and just draw a card for this. I know that was kind of like a quick rundown of this energy. Like I said, I probably will talk more about the Venus aspect of this because the whole effect that Venus is here too, which means that all of us, especially like in our relationships, be them platonic, friends, colleagues, romantic, we all are going through a major sort of refurbishing, if you will, a recalibration of how we speak to each other, how we think about each other, realizing that our thoughts do affect other people, realizing that our thoughts do affect our reality and our most immediate reality, what's in our direct vicinity, that Gemini energy. And also, I mean, I could say I guess the stereotypical, this may be a time where, a lot of people get together or break up or whatever like that. But really, it ultimately comes down to your relationship with yourself, because that is the one person that you're going to spend the most time with in this lifetime. So yeah, relationships are definitely there's going to be some challenges in relationships, but I think more of it's going to have to be dealing with that self-worth and that self-confidence. And as I said, one of the secrets with Gemini, being that Capricorn is their 8th house, that they have secrets about success and how to move up the ladder. And a lot of times you'll see Geminis speaking out against the system and stuff like that. Geminis are they're very lyrically gifted, and a lot of them will end up being like journalists and wanting to expose certain truths such as that. That's that Gemini energy. So everyone right now, in many ways, is getting kind of exposed to, I mean, we got to look at what's in Capricorn right now. We have Pluto there. The South Node's not there anymore, but Pluto is still there. And yeah, Saturn's not there, but Saturn's going to retrograde back into Capricorn. So it's funny because we probably don't even want to look at that Capricorn energy because we've just been inundated with so much of it lately. But I guess Jupiter's there as well too, right? So that's another thing too. Jupiter's there. That's going to give way to expansion and good fortune and good luck. Jupiter is there, right? Where's Jupiter right now? It's at 27 degrees. It's at 27 degrees. Oh, I didn't even mention how this new moon is actually trining over to Saturn. So that's another cool thing about this, is that even though, Saturn, it's not the easiest planet to deal with, when you have a trine, you're dealing with harmonic energy. So, and yeah, the moon and Saturn don't really get along. They don't really get along. But what's interesting about this trine is that since Saturn's also retrograde, it's actually going to give us an opportunity. I think every single one of us is going to be sort of afforded an opportunity to make good on a promise that was previously broken. I think Saturn's going to give us that opportunity because it is retrograde. It's in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is about this electrical energy, these electrical impulses, and it's going to give us the opportunity. It's almost sort of like, it's like, say like you're in a restaurant and you meant to like flag down the waiter so you can get more to drink and they missed you. Saturn's coming back around and is going to give us an opportunity to flag them down again so we can actually get what we want. So that's going to be happening for each and every one of us. That's going to be the trine energy. It's going to be different for every single person. And I would say just to kind of keep an eye out for that. It can come in many different ways. It just really, really depends. So let's draw a card. So this first card I'm going to draw is going to be the predominant vibration, and this is just a basic reading as well. This is going to be the predominant vibration that everyone's going to be tapped into for this. So we have the card of dynamic. I know the light's kind of like getting it and stuff like that, but we have the card of dynamic. You can at least see the vibration. You can see like the card itself. The frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. This is awesome. It's like we're in a fun house and we're like, with the whole like the mirrors and everything. You ever been to like a department store and you're kind of like in the dressing area and they have like those mirrors are all looking at each other and you're like, you see like the hallway of mirrors. That's kind of what this card is talking about. But it's talking about harmonizing all these different layers of ourselves, because we are so many different layers. We are multidimensional beings. We really are. And we have been fooled into believing that we're not. We're being fooled to believe that these different aspects of ourselves, these different personalities, maybe even different voices that come up aren't ours. But a lot of them are. Now, there can be interceptions. We'll talk about that in a later video, about how your thoughts can be intercepted. But we each are composed of many different layers. We're not just one static thing. We're dynamic. And this is going to give us the opportunity to harmonize all of these different layers, especially, like I said, with Mercury here, and especially with Venus retrograde. So it's actually giving us the opportunity to kind of go back and look at these different aspects of ourselves, to look at these different mirrored versions of ourselves, maybe look back at some of these promises that we made to ourselves and to make good on them. Because truth to be told, we have all the time in the world, because we have all the time in the world. We're infinite beings, right? We have all the time in the world. That's why it's super, super important for you to not get so hung up on not being in a certain place, especially if you're kind of basing it off of what you see someone else doing. We can get so hung up on wanting to be a certain way because we see someone else doing it and we think that we want that, or we think that that's the life that we want. And maybe an aspect of us does, because an aspect of us really resonates with it. But then when it doesn't happen the way that we want or doesn't come to fruition, then it's like, well, fuck. It's like there's some disappointment that comes there. But we have to realize that we are our own unique being and we have all the time in the world. So, yes, you don't have to, per se, meditate for, every day for the next 10 years to reach enlightenment. Okay, you don't have to do that. If you want to, that's cool. And maybe there's someone that is doing that, or you don't have to live in a van to, attain enlightenment. You don't have to do that sort of stuff. You can continue doing what you're doing. It just really comes down to mindset, because mindset is so very freaking important. It is so important. And I'm going to draw one more card. I'm going to draw the bottom card here. And another thing too, this is a new moon. So these energies and what we're planting right now and what we're wanting to manifest, or this new version or this new mirror that we're wanting to manifest, won't manifest until Sagittarius season. It won't manifest until 6 months from now. We are planting right here. That's why it's really important too, to not get so hung up on whatever idea that we're trying to project out into the world, and if it doesn't manifest immediately, to get discouraged, because this isn't going to manifest overnight. It's not going to manifest overnight. It's going to take a full 6 months for this energy to come to fruition. We also have the crown chakra here. We have the crown chakra. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of light, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. It's a beautiful card, the crown chakra. And it's so interesting how I get the crown chakra and we're dealing with the I'm not even going to go into that, but if you know, you know. I'm going to draw just one more card. And this card is going to, let's see, what is this card going to represent? I think this card is going to represent, see, those first two cards were like the vibration of where we want to feel. The first card is, I would say this card is the card that we are planting. And this card is going to be sort of like the result of what we're going to be manifesting. So we're going to be manifesting a new crown, if you will. A new corona, if you will. This card is going to kind of represent the bridge and everything that we're going to be kind of going through. The trials, the tribulations, the ups and downs. That's what this card is going to represent. So let's grab this last card. And just for shits and giggles, I'm going to draw another card from my Answer a Simple Oracle deck. The reason why I'm doing this is because, like I said, there's going to be trials and tribulations and challenges, but oftentimes the answer is simple. We like to complicate things. So here's the thing. Wow. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Three of Cups, and we have the card of I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry. There are certain individuals that you may connect with over the next 6 months, or reconnect with people that you may have met in this lifetime already, or people that you may have met in past lifetimes are going to come back into your life. You're going to have an opportunity to meet with them again, have fun with them again. And I think really what this is about is that you see these individuals, they're having a party, they're enjoying themselves, and they're having fun. But we have this card of Say I'm Sorry. We're going to have the opportunity to make things right. We're going to have an opportunity to make things right. And that's a very beautiful thing. Forgiveness is key here. I think we have to learn how to forgive ourselves, to forgive other people, and realize that we're all still going through this together. But ultimately, I believe that we're going through this because we have to realize our true potential, realize that we are these multidimensional beings, realize that we have the potential to do anything, and we can create this world in such, I mean, we can coexist with this world and create along with nature, you know, and really feel empowered and have that, just feel imbued by God, you know, to really carry forth our purposes. But it's okay, you know, if we mess up, if we fall, if we trip, it's okay. So we just got to say, I'm sorry. You know, we may try and do all these kind of crazy things to try and make up for it, but it really just comes down to just forgive yourself and forgive other people. Because when we do that, we'll really be able to party like we really want to. We have some things that we're going through. We have some dark times, but at the same time, I really do believe that this is going to free us up so we can have the most incredible party on Earth, and that when aliens drive by our planet or fly by our planet, we're no longer going to be the boonies, but we're going to be like that awesome destination that people want to come and vacation to, you know? So we got a while before we get there, but I know we can do it because I can see it as a vision, and I know you can see it as a vision, and I know every single one of us has that vision, that seed within us. It's just a matter of bringing it out. So ask yourself, like I said, would you rather break mirrors right now, or would you rather break promises? And like I said, you're having an opportunity to make good on these promises that you may have previously broken, because everything is cyclical. Everything will come back around. Every opportunity will come back around. So that's going to just about do it for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Like I said, I know I haven't been live in a while. Y'all like my hat? I got this hat today. My dad used to wear these hats all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go grab myself a cowboy hat. You know, tap into that side of myself. Anyways, I like it. I think it's cool. So, but I love you all so much. Y'all take care and stay blessed. Utilize this new moon to the best of your ability. Like I said, tomorrow, sometime over the weekend, I'll probably do like a live automatic writing session. So grab your notebooks and your pens, and we'll do that. And we can even share with each other and stuff. At least I'll share with you guys. That would be cool. Maybe I should invite someone to the channel. I might do that. Maybe I'll invite someone to the channel and we'll do that. But we'll see. I'm gonna have to send out some requests and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm rambling. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. Happy new moon in Gemini. And like I said, happy birthday to all of the Geminis out there. I will see you all in the next video. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often. Peace.